Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum student. This is Umaira Saeed, lecturer Time Institute Multan. So today we are going to deliver the lecture number 2 for introduction to mass communication. So the agenda for the today's session is that today we discuss the communication, its types, its process and the barriers which create some kind of hindrances in communication process. So starting with the communication and make it resume with the previous lecture. Students, as in the previous lecture we discussed that the communication is the process of sharing the ideas, the sharing of knowledge, the sharing of thoughts from one person to another person. Like I am sharing my words, my ideas, my ideologies from me and transferring it to you, and you are like giving me the feedback, and so the communication process is now become bilateral rather than unilateral. So communication is always a two-way process. It is not a single way process, it is not unilateral, and it is unending process. So now moving towards the types of the communication. There are multiple types of the communication. Write down few of them. Verbal communication, non-verbal communication, diagonal communication and vertical communication. Verbal communication. You know that in the 24 hours of the day, it has been said that the 35% of our time is just dedicated to the verbal communication. It means that in our whole day, 35% of our whole communication is verbal. Oral communication, in which the words are used, 35% is the ratio. The rest of the ratio is being dedicated to the non-verbal communication. So what is non-verbal communication? The type of communication in which words are not used, like the wordless communication. When there will be no words, then what type of a communication is? Your gestures, your postures, your facial expressions, your winking of the eyes, your waving of the hands, your facial expressions. So these all are the non-verbal communications. If I plunge into the more depth of non-verbal communication, then it may be your time, your silence, the space you use to develop between you and your friends and your people around you. So this is the non-verbal communication. The third is the vertical communication. The vertical communication is further divided into two: the upward communication and the downward communication. So what is upward communication? An upward communication which is being done from a very ground floor, you may say from a peon to some executive director. It is the upward communication. And what is downward communication? It is being done from the top management to some lower staff. It is a very common example which I am giving it to you. If a peon like communicate to the higher management or to the executive director, so there are so many advantages of that. The advantage number one is you will be recognized, the top management will recognize that you are a person who is working under us. You will be so opinionated, you can give the opinion, you can give the suggestion, there will be the open door policy. But there is only one disadvantage of that you will start living under the scrutinization. You will under the severe clutches of always at the end of the termination. You can be terminated and you will be under the observation. So this is the one aspect and the one disadvantage of the upward communication. Now moving to the downward communication. The downward communication is from the top management to the lower staff, and what is the advantages of that? You will be recognized, your pains and your demands will be listened. Definitely it is an open door policy, but again the message will be distorted. You know, when the message being transferred from the higher management to the lower management, sometimes it is distorted. Distorted means like if an executive director is delivering a message to the person who is under the executive director, maybe the director, then the message will move to the deputy director and then to the assistant manager and then to the lower staff. The message will take its different shapes. So this is how we said that the message sometimes become distorted when transferred from the higher management to the lower management. So somehow it is being said that upward communication is much more important and much more significant and reliable than the downward communication. Another type of communication is the horizontal communication, the communication which is being done by the people at the same level. Suppose I announce a test and this test is being transferred by CRs and the GRs and then GRs to the rest of the people in the class. So this is the horizontal communication which is being done by the people of the same level. You may give your opinion, your suggestions, your complaints to your CR and GRs, and that will be communicated to me later on, but at the same level when it is being discussed is said to be the horizontal communication. Another type of the communication is diagonal communication. Diagonal is a kind of communication in which all the people are discussing about the same topic at the different level. Like if I announce some kind of a test or the midterm is announced by your institute, then the different levels in the hierarchies will start working on that particular process. Like the top management will discuss about how to arrange the midterm, the teachers will discuss that how to prepare the exams paper, the student will discuss about the syllabus. So this is the diagonal communication which is done by the same level, and the same topic will be discussed at the different hierarchy levels. So this is the diagonal communication. Another most important thing now we are going to discuss is the process of communication. The process of communication is based on the few components, and now we are discussing those components. I hope that you would have pencil and paper in your hand to note down the important points. So students, when we discuss the process of communication, so we have a sender. Who is the sender? The one who sends the message. I am the sender and I am sending a message, and I am sending a verbal message. And who are the receivers? You are the receivers. I am the sender, a person who sends the message, and receivers who received the message. So you are the receiver. After receiving the message, you decode what I am being sent. So encoding means the composing of message, and decoding means to decode and understand the depth and the underlying message. When you receive the message, so you again prepare a message and again you become the sender. Now you are giving me the response. You are giving me the response back to me. It means that you are giving me the feedback. So this feedback is very much important to continue the communication process. If this feedback stops, then the communication will be unilateral. If you want to continue the bilateral communication, there must be feedback. There are so many other things which are involved in the communication process. Number one are the channels, that through which channels you are communicating. Like sometimes you may have the face-to-face communication, sometimes you use some other different media, by the radio, by the television, sometimes by the newspaper. The movies are another form of delivering the messages. So it depends upon the channel, like through which you are sending the message. And other is the noises. Noises, or you may say the barriers. The barriers are those restrictions which sometimes stops the communication process. And now we are moving towards the barriers. There are number of the barriers around you. So we are here listed few. Number one is the environmental barrier. What is environmental barrier? I am delivering a lecture to you and someone starts knocking outside the door, someone starts slamming the door, or someone starts drilling outside the door. Sometimes maybe there is so much light, sometimes there is so much horn outside, there is so much noises of the student outside. So all this thing will not only distract our communication, but sometimes create hindrances as well, obstacles as well. So these obstacles sometimes create a barrier in continuing the communication process. So this is number one barrier, environmental. The number two is the cultural barrier. There are so many cultural barriers, like in our culture, in the Pakistani cultures, sometimes we are hesitant in communicating with the male gender, and sometimes males are hesitant in communicating to the female. So it is sometimes devised by the culture. So this is called the cultural hindrances. There are so many other things like provisional hindrances as well, like every province have their own customs and the rituals. Every culture has its own demand. Like in our culture, we cannot mingle and we cannot chat so freely with the opposite gender. So these cultural barriers are sometimes also create hindrances in communicating. The third is the language. Yes, students, language is one of the basic hindrances. Most of the people are unfamiliar with the English language or some other language other than English. So language become hindrances sometimes because of the poor vocabulary, sometimes of the poor background knowledge, because of the poor education, you cannot understand the message being delivered. So that is why the language may become a hindrance, a big hindrance in the communication. The next is the physical barrier. Yes, the physical barriers, as I am saying, like you are a hearing problem, you don't have your hearing aid, and sometimes you are not attentive properly, sometimes you are not giving attention. So these are the physical problems. Psychological problems. Maybe you are in the state of depression, maybe you are not in the state of senses. So that are the psychological problems, that you are not giving attention to the communication and you are not giving the feedback. Sometimes while sitting in the class, if a teacher suddenly asks you, yes, you student, give me the answer of this question, and you suddenly get in the state of the shock and said, no ma'am, I didn't listen you. But you were watching to your teacher. Then why you didn't listen? Because psychologically and physically you were present in the class, but mentally you were absent and your attention were diverted something, maybe in nostalgia or maybe some unconsciously. So this is one of the hindrance of communication. So these are the barriers, and this was the lecture number 2, and inshallah we will come up with the lecture number 3. Thank you.